Hi, I'm Adriana Baranek, CEO of Meadra Group, and here with me is Martin Baranek, our CTO.
Hi.
So today's topic is a common theme that we have encountered in many companies. Lots of companies are basically very confused with Microsoft Skype versus Microsoft Teams. Microsoft purchased Skype for a lot of money not so long ago, and now Microsoft Teams is becoming the belle of the ball. Can you tell us more about that, Mladen, and about the history of Microsoft video conferencing?
So basically, Microsoft had number of products for video conferencing. Some of them were based on H323 standard a long time ago, so that they were supporting video conferencing with specialty servers and net meeting and that kind of stuff. Then they acquired Skype as a company that enabled Microsoft to offer voice over IP kind of services. So people started using Skype for making international calls, and it evolved into a video conferencing solution. So you were suddenly able to use a proprietary Skype protocol to do video conferencing, voice calls, and even special hardware was designed by Polycom and number of other vendors to support that functionality. So you had special Skype phones, Skype hardware for video conferencing and stuff like that. At the same time, Microsoft had a Communicator and other products for enterprises, but they also developed something called Skype Business for enterprises, and they were selling special software, and you were able to set up kind of Skype interoperability for residential Skype users and stuff like that. And finally, it became kind of a mess because suddenly Skype was not fully compatible with Skype for Business. If you had Communicator, you had issues establishing connections with companies with Azure Active Directory. If you were on on-prem Active Directory, it required extensive installations. You were able to, of course, invest additionally into devices needed for that interoperability, and basically with Office 365, it was causing a lot of problems because Skype for Business came with Office 365 and it was not really interoperable with on-prem solutions, and it was working basically through proprietary technology, so it was not, you were not able to use it in a browser. But you had to use a Windows platform and install additional software to kind of use it in a browser. And it also had different versions for Android and iOS. So you had to install Skype for private usage and Skype for business, and so. And not long time ago, since internet had a standardized way for doing video conferencing within HTML5 browsers, so all modern browsers are now capable of doing it without installing any special hardware or software or whatever. Suddenly, Microsoft decided to forget about whole Skype story and develop Teams that will utilize internet standards and work in a browser without any additional requirements. So at the moment with Office 365, you basically get teams that are completely new product, and they are not compatible with Skype or any other legacy systems. You have to use, of course, bridges, interoperability stuff if you want to work simultaneously with Skype and Teams. But in principle, Teams, Microsoft Teams is the future, and it enables video conferencing. It has also some integration to voice over internet through Office 365 capabilities, but it's not easy and it's not by default, and there are no special phones or special hardware at the moment for supporting Microsoft Teams. But if you are using Office 365 and Microsoft Teams, basically you can just start a video conferencing through your calendar, and it'll work in a number of browsers. So it'll work also on Android and iOS, and you'll be able to have meetings. You can use it as an instant messaging platform as well, and this is kind of a little bit of awkward situation because whole Skype thing is going away, and companies that invested recently in Skype infrastructure will obviously have to find a way how to migrate to new platform.
Yeah, because in a way, the situation with those special phones and special devices that are used just to connect to video conferencing like Skype are basically a thing of the past. It's like AT&T proclaiming in 1990s that you will have phone booths to connect to video calls. It's sort of remnant of the old system, of the old way of thinking.
Fortunately, there are a number of internet compatible devices, so you can have a same phone using it for Teams and Office 365 or Google Hangouts Meet or Google Voice basically, and for Cisco telephony. So there are internet compatible phones that are relevant, and unfortunately Skype infrastructure and this whole Skype story will fade away. So it will have less and less installation in the future. So really, if you go now with IP telephony and you choose voice over internet standard solutions, that's the way to go.
And because Skype basically was a retail product for a long time.
Yes.
And it had big strength in contracts with telcos, in ability to port your phone number and in ability to use Skype with your phone. And
yes, but it was kind of a closed system where you had to use proprietary Skype things in order to interoperate with the whole thing. And somehow even Microsoft now decided that obviously using open standards and being interoperable and working with others, it's a much better solution than trying to have a cocoon and this specialty product within that cocoon.
For Microsoft Teams, all that you need really is a browser. You don't need anything else. And Skype is still being used a lot, and people like it. People got used to it, but they will have to get over it and start using a new product.
Yes. So basically, Teams is a migration to Teams can be easy if you don't have special hardware and special requirements. If you invested in legacy infrastructure, then one has to think how to and when to do migration to Teams.
Yeah, and we still see, for instance, in companies that are really not up to date with new technology, there are still some companies that have large Lync installs in their companies.
Yes.
And some of them are planning to move to Skype, so they might be a little bit out of touch with the current time, but but things are really moving fast, and we can expect Microsoft Teams to be prevalent in the very near future. So if you still have not started using Microsoft Teams, it's a good time to start now. In next videos, we will talk also specifically about Google video conferencing solutions and what Google is doing in that area. Stay safe from coronavirus. Start using video conferencing. It's a really good idea. We will also cover the specific equipment and devices that are available on how to make your boardroom more sexy and more in tune with the new times that are coming in next videos. So stay tuned for more. Do you have anything else to add, Mladen?
Yeah, looking forward to see you in our next video.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.